You're going to add 2.5 cups of gluten-free flour. All right. That's 2.5 cups. And then you're going to add your baking powder. And you just need a teaspoon of this. And it goes. And whisk. As you're whisking, try to get any large clumps of flour out, unless you decided to sift the flour. In a separate bowl, so this one, we're going to put here, you're going to beat your sugar, butter, and vanilla together. All right, you need copious amounts of butter. You need 3/4 of a cup. So 1 stick of butter is 1/4 of a cup. So you need 3 sticks. The reason I have 4 out is because you're going to need another stick for the frosting. These need to be at room temperature. So I suggest taking them out several hours before you decide you want to bake. Especially if it's winter time and it's cold, it's going to take longer for it to come to room temperature. We need a cup of sugar. This white cane granulated sugar. We spilled a little extra in the bowl. That's okay. All right, so we need a teaspoon of vanilla in there. All right, so we're going to cream this, and it's going to be a pain in the butt because it's butter. Yeah, and my beaters don't want to go into them very easily. Alright, mistake number 1 that I made. This bowl should be bigger. So, don't do what I did. Use a bigger bowl. Because stuff went flying everywhere. And I'm going to try to get it back in the bowl. And I'm going to transfer this to a bigger bowl. Ugh, mistakes were made. Hopefully, problem solved. Continue to cream this butter, this time in a bowl that, you know, is the proper size. So, sometimes, if your butter is still room temperature, if your butter's room temperature, but the temperature in your room is like freezing cold, it'll end up doing this. I have a trick for that. You're just going to get your hands in there and cream this butter. And try not to fling it out of the bowl like I just did. But yeah, sometimes it's just easier to get your hands in there. So, using my hands, that's what it looks like now. That's what it should look like. So if you can't achieve that with your mixer, just get your hands in there. If you've got long nails, you might want to put gloves on though, because you will get sugar and stuff underneath your nails. Ready for our eggs. You need 2 eggs, but you want to add them 1 at a time. Again, I use the brown cage-free eggs, but you can use whatever eggs you're comfortable using. Some people are probably gonna ring me on this. Because you can soften the butter in the microwave. I don't like to do that because you run the risk of your eggs curdling and cooking by adding warm butter. So if you do that, you need to let it cool down and make it the same temperature as your eggs. But because gluten-free ingredients are so expensive, I don't like to run the risk of ruining my batter. which is why I just go ahead and get my hands in there. But I'm sure someone will come along at some point and watch this and be like, you could have warmed the butter up. And to that I say, if you want to do that, go for it. If you're on a budget, because you know gluten-free food's expensive and you don't want to ruin your batter, just put your hands in there. Everybody does things their own way, and that's okay. All right. This mixture is going to go into your flour. So this is where a handy dandy spatula would, you know, be helpful. So this is what your mixture should look like. You know, it's kind of looks like curdled cheese. And I'm gonna make a bigger mess getting the flour everywhere. It'll be great. Future me who's doing cleanup will be very thrilled with past me for making a mess. But that's future me's problem. Anyway, all right, mix this together until you form a batter. If you have a situation like this, where your batter's just sticking to this and making your mixer work harder, and you've still got flour mixture that's not mixing in, you can add an extra egg. Don't add water, don't add milk. Egg is the way to go. You don't want to add a bunch of eggs at a time, just one at a time if needed. And yes, my batter went everywhere. Where is my handy dandy scraper? Here it is. So we're just going to scrape these. It's the next day, actually. I realized my camera cut off yesterday, so you didn't get to see me do this. But basically, you needed to take your dough, use some parchment paper, roll it into a ball, and then I used foil to wrap it, but you can use plastic wrap if you want to. I just don't like plastic wrap. I hate fighting with it, so I used foil. You need to do that and then leave it in the fridge for at least an hour, although I find overnight works best. So for today, what you'll need is some more parchment paper, a little bit of flour, a roller, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, this was in my Goodwill to give away box. Because I hate this thing, but I saw on another channel that you can grease it, and that's supposed to help with the dough not sticking. So I have greased it with coconut oil. We'll see how that goes. And then I have a bunch of cookie cutters. We've got a star, we've got a bell, we've got a Santa. I think, yeah, that's Santa. This is the tree. We have a tree. We got a candy cane. We have a gingerbread person. A snowflake or a flower. This can be used for both. We have a heart too. We might use it. Who knows? So we're going to get started here in a minute. Logan's going to help me. And I will show you how to get these going. Alright guys, so this is what your dough should look like after you unwrap it. Some of your dough may stick to your parchment paper. You can just peel it off and put it on this ball if you want to. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to set Logan up somewhere else to work on cookies, and then I will be working over here. So you want a parchment paper with a little bit of flour on it, your roller, and your cutters. Also, your oven needs to be set at 325 Fahrenheit, so 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So we have our cookie sheet, and we have the silicone baking mat. If you do not have one of these, just use some coconut oil to grease the bottom of your pan. You can also use butter, you can use Crisco, and by bottom I mean the top, not this side, but the side you put your cookies on. Alright, so this is my half of the dough. Let's get it slightly floured. This did not work with Logan's. I had to use my hands. So we will see if I can get it to work on camera. But first, I'm going to press my dough down. Using my arm muscles. That, you know, I have, because I had to lift an almost a 40-pound dog every day, multiple times a day. And luckily I still have the muscle from that. Alright, I'm going to put a little flour on this top of this. I don't like to, I know that some people will say that, you know, I just need to flour my roller better. And that's probably true, but gluten-free flour is so expensive. I really hate wasting it this way, you know? It's not like regular flour where it's not as expensive. But yeah, I mean, a package like this can be, it used to be $14. I think it's closer to $20 now, you know? And that's not cheap. I don't know about anyone else out there, but gluten-free cooking and baking, not cheap. And it would be really nice if we didn't have to pay extra, since we, you know, have a medical condition requiring this. It's not like we chose to eat this way. You know, most people will tell you that they'd eat gluten if they could. Not everybody, but a lot of people would. So it's not friendly for the budget. Alright, well, it seems to be working on my end. It was like, gonna work for Logan? No. Alright.
It's just jealous of my potential.
Yep, he said it's jealous of his potential. So he took a few of the cookie cutters over there and he's making those shapes. I will show you what they look like when we get them on the cookie tray. So we've got our we've got our dough rolled out. I tried to say dough and rolled at the same time. It's kind of like, you know, Barney Stinson and the Possible. Anyway, if you find your cookie cutters are sticking to your dough, you can flour them as well. I do that when I make the gingerbread. You have to. But for this one, you don't usually have to. Anyway, we're just gonna press them out. Gently push them out of your cookie cutter. That's the word. Sorry, I'm really tired. Alright, that's what the star looks like. If you've got kids, this is really fun to do with them, especially when you get to the decorating part. Another thing that you can do, which is really fun, but I didn't do it, you can actually put food coloring in this dough. You can separate the dough into different batches and put some food coloring in, so you could make them green, red, you know, whatever. Later on in this episode, I will show you what food coloring I do use. Should we use the heart? It's not really Christmassy, is it?
Christmas is all about family and love and Jesus, so might as
well
use the heart.
You heard it here. This is our little gingerbread person. Right, Santa Claus. Did I show you the gingerbread guy? No. Or girl. Whatever. you know, I don't want to offend anyone. That's not my intent. Anyway, these are the ones that he cut out. So I'm not sure what happened to this tree here, but
Casualty of war.
Casualty of war, he says. I guess. The bell has seen better days too, but yeah. We've got a couple snowflakes, a couple bells, a couple trees. So these are going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes. You want them to be golden brown. And just like the peanut butter cookies, you're going to want to leave them on the tray for a few minutes before you move them off. So these are going to go in the oven now at 325 Fahrenheit. I'll definitely show you what the cookies look like coming out of the oven, but I'm not going to make you watch me cut all this out. So I will see you guys in just a little bit for the results of what they look like. All right, I just took these out of the oven. These are what they should look like. They're brown around the edges. I may have left these in a smidge too long because they weren't cooking. So I actually turned my oven to 350. And I'm going to bake the next batch at 350 for 10 minutes because 325 wasn't working. But yeah, this is what they should look like. This one's actually perfect, this bell and this tree. So you can see they expand just a little bit, so you want to leave enough space in between. That's the baking powder that makes them expand. I'm going to put them on a cooling rack. I've set it up over by our table so we can frost there later. I will show you what the next batch looks like too, since I have adjusted the oven. This is the second batch. I did all trees this time. So yeah, 350 for 15 minutes works best. Logan and I each taste tested one without frosting, and they are very delicious. Alright, welcome back. We're going to make frosting. Technically, Logan's going to in a minute. But I wanted to show you what you need first. So you need a bowl, a big bowl, and you need a hand mixer. You want to put your bowl and your beaters in the fridge for at least 15 minutes before you make the frosting. You're going to need an entire stick of butter, some milk, you need vanilla, and this is our powdered sugar. So you need powdered sugar. I think in other countries it's called icing sugar. All right, Logan is getting ready to make the frosting. I will narrate what he's doing. So you need 3 cups and 3/4 of a cup. So 3 3/4 cups of the powdered sugar. Like I said, in other countries, I think it's called icing sugar. So he's just putting that in. We don't sift it. If you would like to sift it, you could, but it doesn't really make a difference. He's also already put the butter in. It's underneath all that.
I put it in the center so I can just stab the mixer in.
Yep.
That way I don't have everything fly everywhere.
Yep. Did you just put, is that the 4th one? Or is that the 3rd?
This would be the 3rd one.
Okay, sorry. Alright, so that is the powdered sugar. Now you need milk. You want to start with 3 tablespoons of milk. And if you need to, you can add a tablespoon at a time to get to your desired frosting, whatever you like it to be. If you like it a little more sticky, you add less milk. If you like it a little more creamy, you want to add more milk. But you want to wait until you've started mixing it to add. And now he's going to put in a tablespoon of vanilla. Or not a tablespoon, excuse me, a teaspoon. Do not put a tablespoon in there.
Might move the bowl a little bit as a...
Yep, that's fine.
What do I have this on, 2 or 1?
2 or 3.
2 or 3?
And then you move the bowl around. I know.
A little bit. Okay, it needs to be mixed a little bit more, but See if
So I'm gonna scrape the sides like this, kind of. It does need a smidge more milk, but not very much.
it's the most milk it's ever needed.
I know.
Maybe it's just colder than the last time we made this.
What a mess.
Worth it though.
I'm gonna get Logan set up doing the frosting the stuff while I clean up, but I want to show you the frosting first. So there is some powder around the bowl, that's all right. But yeah, this is what your frosting should look like.
It's a little bright. I don't think they can exactly see. If there was like a bit of a shot. Yeah, that looks better. That
Okay.
looks better.
There you go.
It's as clear as it's gonna get.
That's what it should look like.
You can really bright in here.
You can take a spatula and mix the rest of this little bit of powder that's on the bowl into this if you want to.
This makes it better.
So
Down a little bit. Down a little bit more. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better.
okay. I'm just gonna scrape the sides and shove that last little bit of flour into it. So here you go. Alright, handing this off to Logan. If you want to color your batter or your frosting, you want to separate it into small bowls and then just use some food coloring to drop a little bit in there and then mix it, and then add more as needed to get the desired color. You can also mix your colors. I recommend something like this. These are plant-based, non-GMO, natural, made with vegetable juices and spices. So I highly recommend something like this. I got this on Amazon. The Watkins brand is the same brand I use for the vanilla. So, but this is what I recommend. It's a better alternative. It doesn't have all the chemicals in it, dyes. And then these probably have chemicals and dyes in them, but these are the things we put on top of the cookies. We've got some turquoise colored sugar, or colored sugar. We have 2 red ones for some reason. We have a dark royal blue. We also have 2 green ones. And then we have these cinnamon imperials, these little cinnamon. They're like red hots, basically. We don't usually put these on too many of the sugar cookies. We usually save the majority of these for our gingerbreads. But yeah, anyway, as you can see, we have a plethora of a mess. I'm going to clean this up before I start helping Logan with the cookies. But he's over there frosting, and I will join him and I will show you what our cookies look like frosted. Guys, we're back. Logan frosted about half of them, as you can see. And I so far have frosted 2. Here's one of mine. Little hearts. So I'm just gonna let you hang out with me while I frost a little bit, and then we will decorate. I don't know how much of this footage you'll see, but you know, you'll see some of it. Be pretty boring to watch the whole thing. Although maybe, you know, frosting cookies is ASMR. I don't know. Some people might find it soothing. Other people will find it irritating because I'm not doing it right. So, in the comments, even though people don't usually leave comments, but if you would leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. I'd love to know What are some of your favorite Christmas traditions with your families? Is there something you guys really like doing? Or, a favorite memory of Christmases past? I'd love to learn more about people who watch my videos. So if you want to leave me a comment, I try to respond to everybody. I mean, if I had a video go viral, I wouldn't be able to respond to everybody, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, I do try to respond to comments. But yeah, let me know what's your favorite part of the holiday season. What's your favorite memory? What are some traditions you guys have? I think one of my favorite memories is for several years in a row, we had a running joke in our family. Somebody got a present wrapped in a box that was a toaster box. And it was just this running joke that, oh, you got a toaster. I got you a toaster. When it wasn't actually a toaster in there. I know I'm not telling you that in a funny way, but it was funny to us. Yeah, the box got passed back and forth between everybody. It was pretty funny. And before I was diagnosed with celiac, we used to do Chinese food on New Year's Eve. But we had to stop doing that when I found out I had celiac and Logan has it. So, we couldn't eat there anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, do you guys have celiac too, or you just, or do you have a sensitivity, or, if you want to share that with me, feel free to. If you don't want to, I understand. But I'm just curious, why do you eat gluten-free? And do you have a favorite gluten-free treat or brand? And I'm pretty sure we probably all would say we miss bread. Like gluten-y bread. It's fluffier. The croissants are better. The bread's not full of holes. It costs a lot less. The other things I really miss is being able to eat out. I have high sensitivity to cross-contamination. So if a restaurant isn't fully gluten-free, I always end up getting sick. So we don't have any gluten-free restaurants in this area. I think the nearest one is like an hour away. And we're just gonna decorate these like a child would.
It's also faster to do it the way the kids do it, though.
Yes, it is. Just messy and
we get it
fun.
done faster. Otherwise, you're there for like 2 hours and you're wondering how you lost so much time in the day and why your arms are so tired. And it's like,
and why your back hurts.
Because you argued with your kids about how you want to frost a couple cookies.
Mm-hmm. I think Logan's gonna have some. I'm gonna have a couple before I go take my shower.